Fleet Admiral Kex Vallon had seen every type of warship design in his 3 centuries of military service. The Galactic Naval Academy taught 17 fundamental principles of space combat vessel construction, principles that had governed starship design across 47 different species for over 2 millennia. So when his tactical officer reported an anomalous contact approaching the hegemony fleet, he expected another minor variation on established themes. He did not expect to question everything he knew about space warfare. "Admiral," reported his sensor specialist, her forearms dancing across multiple control interfaces, "the approaching vessel. It doesn't conform to any known classification." Admiral Kex Vallon, a towering crystalline being whose transparent body pulsed with bioluminescent thought patterns, turned his attention to the main tactical display. The image that appeared made his internal light patterns flicker with confusion. "Run diagnostics on the sensors," he ordered. "This reading cannot be accurate." "I've run diagnostics 6 times, sir. The readings are confirmed." The vessel approaching their position was wrong. Everything about it violated fundamental principles of starship design. It was simultaneously too small and too large, too heavily armed and impossibly agile, too advanced and absurdly primitive. "Tactical analysis," Kex Vallon commanded. His weapons officer, a methodical Vorthan with cybernetic enhancement nodes covering half his skull, consulted his displays with growing bewilderment. "Sir, according to our scans, this vessel masses roughly 8,000 tons. A light cruiser then. Minimal threat." "That's where it gets confusing, sir. The power signature suggests a Dreadnought-class fusion core. The weapon signatures indicate enough firepower to level a city. But the engine configuration..." The officer paused, double-checking his readings. "Sir, this ship should not be able to move." Kex Vallon's bioluminescence shifted to the deep purples of intense concentration. "Elaborate. The thrust-to-mass ratio violates basic physics. The weapon systems require more power than the reactor should be able to provide. The armor configuration creates structural weak points that should cause catastrophic failure. And, sir," the officer's voice dropped to a whisper, "it appears to be powered by controlled nuclear explosions." "Nuclear explosions?" "Internal detonations, sir. Multiple per second. The entire propulsion system is based on repeatedly exploding nuclear devices inside the ship's engine compartment." The bridge fell silent, except for the hum of machinery. In 3 centuries of space combat, Kex Vallon had never heard of anything so insane. "Admiral," his communications officer interrupted, "we're receiving a transmission from the vessel." On screen, the main display showed the interior of what appeared to be a warship's bridge, but one unlike any the Admiral had ever seen. Instead of the clean, efficient command centers favored by civilized species, this looked like organized chaos. Cables ran everywhere, jury-rigged modifications covered every surface, and the crew worked with the kind of frantic energy that suggested imminent system failure. A human female appeared on screen, short by galactic standards, with dark skin and eyes that seemed to find something amusing about the situation. "This is Commander Isabella Rodriguez of the Terran Defense Force vessel Unreasonable Proposition. You are ordered to withdraw from this system immediately." Kex Vallon's light patterns shifted to the amused yellows of disbelief. "Unreasonable proposition? What manner of name is that for a warship?" "The kind of name humans give to ships that do things other species consider impossible," Commander Rodriguez replied with a grin. "Speaking of which, you might want to move your fleet. We're about to demonstrate some tactical maneuvers that violate several laws of physics. Commander, your vessel is outnumbered 57 to 1. Even if your weapon systems are as powerful as our scans suggest, basic mathematics." "Admiral," Rodriguez interrupted, "human mathematics work a little differently than everyone else's." On the tactical display, the human ship began to move. It didn't accelerate gradually, like every other spaceship in existence. It didn't follow predictable ballistic trajectories. Instead, it seemed to teleport from position to position, appearing behind hegemony vessels that had been light minutes away just seconds before. "How is it moving like that?" Kex Valon demanded. "Sir," his tactical officer reported in a shaking voice, "it appears to be using its nuclear pulse drive to create localized space-time distortions. It's not traveling faster than light, it's folding space. That's impossible. The energy requirements alone would require controlled nuclear explosions of the exact type their propulsion system produces." The officer finished helplessly. On screen, Commander Rodriguez was checking what appeared to be a handwritten notepad. "Let's see. We need to disable your command ship, neutralize your escorts, and capture your logistics vessels. Should take about 4 minutes. 4 minutes to defeat an entire fleet?" Kex Valon's bioluminescence was now cycling through confused purples and alarmed oranges. "Commander, even if your vessel is advanced, there are fundamental limitations. Admiral, the thing about humans is that we really don't like being told something is impossible. In fact, it kind of makes us want to prove you wrong just to be annoying." The unreasonable proposition vanished from the tactical display. 3 seconds later, it reappeared directly behind Kex Valon's flagship, close enough that its hull filled the main view screen. At this range, the Admiral could see details that made his understanding of military engineering crumble. The ship's armor wasn't a single material. It was layers of different substances that shouldn't be able to exist in the same structure. The weapon mounts moved independently, each one tracking different targets with inhuman precision. Most disturbing of all, sections of the hull appeared to be growing, adapting in real time to optimize for the current tactical situation. "Admiral," Commander Rodriguez's voice came through the communications system. "I'm reading 47 different weapon systems locked onto your bridge. Your shields won't stop what we're about to fire. Your armor won't absorb it, and your point defense systems can't track it. Would you like to surrender now, or shall we demonstrate what human engineering looks like when we stop playing by everyone else's rules?" Kex Valon looked at his tactical displays, showing his 57 ships completely outmaneuvered by a single human vessel that defied every principle of space combat. His weapons officer was staring at readings that suggested the human ship could destroy his entire fleet without taking meaningful damage. "How?" he whispered. Rodriguez's image smiled. "Simple, Admiral. Everyone else builds warships by following rules about what's possible. Humans build warships by figuring out what's necessary and then making it possible." The unreasonable proposition fired once. The blast wasn't aimed at Kex Valon's ship. It was aimed at empty space 3 light seconds away. But somehow, the energy beam folded space around itself, striking 12 different hegemony vessels simultaneously from angles that geometry insisted were impossible. All 12 ships lost power instantly, their systems overloaded by weapons that attacked through dimensions they hadn't known existed. 3 minutes and 47 seconds remaining, Rodriguez announced cheerfully. "Would you prefer to surrender now, or shall we continue the demonstration?" Kex Valon, who had spent 3 centuries believing he understood the fundamental principles of space warfare, looked at his remaining 45 ships and realized that humans hadn't just broken the rules of naval combat. They'd rewritten physics itself to make their impossible warship work. "This is Fleet Admiral Kex Valon," he announced to his fleet. "All ships, stand down. We surrender." And across the galaxy, military academies quietly began adding a new chapter to their tactical manuals: human warfare when the impossible becomes inevitable.